The NBA is screwing the Oklahoma City Thunder, and this is blasphemous. What I just saw when they announced the awards, I am flabbergasted. I don't know what to make of these because Lu Dort was snubbed from Defensive Player of the Year. Tell me how this makes sense. He was not a finalist for it. He was tied for second place just 2 days ago. All right, and now all of a sudden, he's not a finalist for it. And the votes make sense when you see, like, why he wasn't a finalist. He's tied for third. You had to come down, like, you know, it pretty much became a coin flip at that point between him and Dyson Daniels, all right? I'm not mad that Dyson Daniels and Evan Mobley made it over him. Not mad at that whatsoever. Those two players, all NBA first-team caliber players, all right? Dyson Daniels, out of the 3 finalists now, should be the Defensive Player of the Year. The other guy in there, Draymond Green, Defensive Player of the Year in the year 2025? Get out of here. Like, if you truly believe Draymond Green is a Defensive Player of the Year, go get help. Go get help. So I'm going to break down why the NBA and all these voters are wrong about why Lu Dort isn't a Defensive Player of the Year candidate, because he is. He should be all NBA first team, and now at this rate, seeing what's happening with him, wouldn't surprise me if they leave him off the first team as well. Might snub him again. So that might be another video here, but I'm going to break down why he is the Defensive Player of the Year and why he was snubbed in this video. Before we get into all of that, though, quick moment to recognize that around 62% of you guys come back and watch these videos are not yet subscribed to the channel. You guys come back on a regular basis. You might as well just hit that subscribe button. It's the best way to support the channel, and it's the best way to defeat the YouTube algorithm. Hit that subscribe button, hit that like button as well. With that out of the way, let's go ahead, get into talking about it. We'll talk some stats, talk why he is the Defensive Player of the Year. But these are the finalists. When I look at it, and there are 2 guys on this list, I'm like, yeah, they are the Defensive Player of the Year, no doubt. All right, you could give it to them. Dyson Daniels, Evan Mobley, I get that. It's very hard for a guard to win it now in the NBA. So, I get it giving it to Mobley. I get it giving it to Dyson Daniels as well, who was one of the main reasons that Hawks team was even in the play-in, okay, with his defensive play. He also stepped it up offensively. He is one of those main reasons the Hawks were in that play-in, maybe even more than Trae Young. I would not mind giving him Defensive Player of the Year. Same with Evan Mobley. But Draymond Green, he lied his way to Defensive Player of the Year. He has lied his way there. What has he done defensively besides have a good defensive game against Giannis Antetokounmpo that one time? What has he done besides going on his podcast and saying, I should be nominated for Defensive Player of the Year? No one was even considering him having him on an all-defensive team until he started saying it on his podcast. And you're like, oh my God, he's saying it on his podcast. He's on the Warriors. Give it to him. That's what happened. That's exactly what happened for him, because he is playing in a large market surrounded by superstars and Steph Curry. Lu Dort surrounded by Shai Gilgeous-Alexander, but people don't want to consider him a superstar yet because he was in a small market, blah, blah, blah. If he played for the Lakers, Warriors, any of those guys, you would start considering him and a bunch of other players for awards. But Draymond Green plays beside Steph Curry and now Jimmy Butler. Like, he's going to get that national media attention because of those guys. They are known by everyone across the world. And so it might as well come down to him like, yeah, give him Defensive Player of the Year. He's in a large market. That's all it is. It's because he plays in a large market, they want to give him the award. The stats, it doesn't make sense. I'll give you some reasons why Lu Dort should have been Defensive Player of the Year. Check this out right here. These are some averages. You might be wondering, oh my, what do these averages mean? Luka Doncic dropping down from 27.8 points per game to 16 against OKC. What? 25.7 for Cade all the way down to 11? Oh my goodness. Devin Booker, 25 to 15. LeBron, 24 to 12. And then Donovan Mitchell, 24 to 9, who's going to be on an all-NBA first team? Like, who is guarding these guys? One person! Lu Dort! Lu Dort is guarding all these players. And they're dropping down in averages every single time they play the Oklahoma City Thunder because Lu Dort is guarding them. Yes, he doesn't get a ton of steals or a ton of blocks per game, and I'm thinking that's why he didn't make it as a finalist for Defensive Player of the Year, because he's not averaging 2 steals a game and a block. All right? I'm thinking that's the reason why. He's only averaging a steal a game and, just over half a block a game. But his defensive impact doesn't show up in the box score for those counting stats. And that's all the award voters care about when it comes to Defensive Player of the Year. You're counting stats. How many steals and blocks a game do you have? That's all they care about. Or if you're a big name. Lu Dort is just now becoming a big name because guys like, Brian Windhorst, Kevin O'Connor, all these guys, Stephen A. Smith are finally highlighting and be like, yo, he's the real deal defensively. But it was too late. Too late to make that case for him on the national stage. Because he doesn't average 2 steals a game. Is why he's not the defensive player of the year. Like, I'll pull up these stats again. You're telling me people aren't looking at this and be like, oh my gosh, he is actually locking people down. It is the torture chamber. All right? Like, this is a real effect of the torture chamber right here. He is locking down those players. All of them are averaging 10 less than they usually do when they play the Thunder because they're guarded by Lu Dort. That's how good of a player he is. But yet you're telling me it's like, what? He's not a defensive player of the year finalist? When he's the best defensive player of the, best defensive player on the best defensive team in the NBA. Let's look at some of the stats, all right, that the Thunder did this year. These are, top steals in the NBA for teams. The Thunder lead the way with 847. Who's the best defensive player on the Thunder? Lu Dort. Oh, yeah, he should be up there for defensive player of the year then. All right, let's check out some others. What's this? Opponents' points per game. How many points are teams limiting their opponents to? Thunder fell off in the second half of the season defensively from 1 to 3 with 107.63 points allowed per game. Okay. So what? Happens. All right. Only Magic and Celtics above them, but you got to keep in mind they were limiting opponents to 102 points per game in that first half of the season. Who was in charge of that? Lu Dort. Even the players have said it before. Lu Dort is the best defender on this team. Let's check out some more right here. Point differential in the NBA. Thunder led it all time with 1,055 point differential. That's because of how good their defense was this year. Their defense would cause so many great leads because they could turn defense into offense on the other end and transition just like that. And that's what they did against the Memphis Grizzlies yesterday. But they have the best point differential in NBA history. And it's because their defense and Lu Dort led the way, but no one wants to pay attention to that. All they want to do is look at the counting stats, and that's why Lu Dort is getting snubbed once again, and it's happened for 3 years in a row now. It is just getting ridiculous. We can look at the box score from yesterday, all right? John Morant was limited to 17 points yesterday, 6 of 17 shooting, 1 of 6 from deep, all right? That's because of Lu Dort. Desmond Bane, anytime he switched on to him right there, 3 of 12. Like, this is what the defense did to them. Locked them down. Lu Dort was switching off of every screen that they tried to get him. He guarded Jaren Jackson Jr. for a few possessions and locked him down. This defense locked them down. The Memphis Grizzlies were scoring the second most points in the NBA going into this. Limited them to 80 points in a playoff game. 6 of 34 from deep. 32 of 93 from the field. They had 22 turnovers. Who do you think caused all this chaos and bad shooting? Who do you think was the main head of this monster in OKC for defense that led them to shoot this poorly? It's Lu Dort. But because he doesn't get 2 to 3 steals a game or a block or 6, 7 rebounds as a guard, he's not going to win Defensive Player of the Year. Because all they care about, the only award that voters actually look at advanced metrics for is MVP. It's time for you to start looking at advanced metrics that prove, okay, these guys are actually the best defensive players in the NBA right here, like Lu Dort, for Defensive Player of the Year. 6th Man of the Year, all right? Rookie of the Year, all NBA, all defensive teams, all these different awards. It's time for you to look at the advanced metrics so you can actually figure out who is the best Defensive Player of the Year. Who is the best defensive player in that season? What, you're going to give it to Draymond Green because he's a forward getting 6 rebounds a game and a block and steal? A lot of guys do that in the NBA. Isaiah Hartenstein did that last season. Let's give him Defensive Player of the Year then. He's a great defensive player, but can we all agree he's Defensive Player of the Year material? No, he's not. He just isn't. And I love Hartenstein. I do. He just isn't, a top level. He's not a top 5 defender in the NBA. There are guys better than him at it, and that's okay. He does his job well for OKC. Lu Dort is the best defender in the NBA. When you looked at those stats I showed you, and I'll show you to you guys once again to prove how much of an impact he truly has on this team. Just look at this. These numbers don't make sense with what the finalists are. You're telling me a guy doing all of this isn't a finalist for Defensive Player of the Year? If this was Draymond Green, he would be up there and he'd be locked for Defense Player of the Year. Unanimous. But because it's Lu Dort playing in a small market in OKC, it's not going to be him. And that is just absurd. It is time for the media to wake up and actually realize how good of a defender he is. Just because he doesn't, I keep beating a dead horse here, broken record, but it's because he doesn't average all these steals each game. I'm turning red. I'm about to have heart palpitations from this because that's how crazy it is to me. It doesn't make sense how he was not a finalist. And they just did highway robbery on the Oklahoma City Thunder. That's what it was. Sorry, breaking out a little bit there, rage baiting maybe, I don't know. Call me Unk for it. Just tell me how you guys personally feel about him not being a finalist for Defensive Player of the Year, but yet Draymond Green is. That's all I got. I'll see you guys in the next one.